Right, so ever tried to build a thermoacoustic Stirling engine and been really frustrated by it? Well, that's because up until very recently, thermoacoustic Stirling engines were based on something called a Stirling tube, which is a little bit critical about where you put the stack and where you apply the heat, and if you don't get it just right, it's a pain in the neck to get it to work. Now, that's because an awful lot of research has been done recently on thermoacoustic engines and thermoacoustic tubes, particularly in refrigeration, and it wasn't until the 80s or the 90s this came out when it's called the Hofler tube. Now the Hofler tube is a thermoacoustic engine that is non-critical and stunningly easy to make, and I basically have it here. So I've got myself a glass test tube. Now the length actually doesn't matter that much, it's 150 millimeters long, but it really doesn't matter, and there's 4 centimeters of wire wool. This stuff, fine grade wire wool, just rolled up and stuffed in the end there, and you can see it's right at the end. And what I've got here is a bit of 8mm diameter copper pipe with an awful lot of tape around it. The tape is around it just so that I can get that in there. Once I've got that in there, I'm going to tape it up again. And that's to seal everything, so it's all sealed in. And that, believe it or not, is a thermoacoustic engine called a Hofler tube. Now all we have to do is to get it to run. When it runs, then it will hum. As all of these tubes, when they're working, hum. And then changing it into an engine is a bit different, but not that much, because what we get is a vibration here. And essentially you stick a diaphragm or a piston on this end here, and that vibration is translated into the piston. Now what I've got here is a methylated spirits burner. And I also need my lighter. One of the excruciating things about these tubes is how long they take to heat up. Not so with the Hofler tube. We just heat up the end there of the stack, which is what that steel wool is. Give it a few moments and we should hear it hum. There we are, humming away. How easy was that? A stunningly easy thing to make, actually, in the basis of a Stirling engine. I wanted to show you the tube. It's very often when you try and make these Stirling engines, if you don't try and make the tube first, you wonder where you've gone wrong. So making this tube that resonates is actually the first step to making that engine. So a Hofler tube, which was used in refrigeration by NASA, is stunningly simple, non-critical and really easy to make, so it'll hum away all by itself as long as that meth's is burning. Awesome. We can turn that into a Stirling piece of cake, but at least we've got the tube made and it is non-critical in so many ways. Anyway, I thought I would share that with you. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe.